Hi everyone, and welcome to webinar number one. My name is Hayley Mears, and I'm very grateful to have you join me on this series of webinars, which will really elevate your digital marketing, but also show you the things that, firstly, you didn't know, and secondly, the things that we need you to walk back, because as the landscape of social changes, so does how we use it. And many of the things that we used to do or the things that we have been taught previously are no longer part of our strategy. So, webinar number one is all about Instagram fundamentals. I want you to walk away from this particular webinar with an easy to follow, actionable step by step that is purely based on reworking the landing page of your Instagram to optimize your sales and your bookings. Like really, really simple, nothing harder than that. And it's just going to be a couple of tweaks and edits to how you actually set up that profile. So I'm going to jump in, and please feel free as we go to make notes, and you can come back to me later and ask me some questions. The fundamentals of Instagram, oh my God, does this change? It is a sliding, moving landscape that is, perpetually evolving. And I want you to, if you're looking at this as a recorded piece, we are currently in April of 2026. So bear in mind that if you're watching this as a recording, it may have changed, and the information we're giving you is correct and current as of this time. Community is a really big part of any social platform, and more we are seeing community and conversations taking place in Instagram. And as the app adds new tools and functionalities, we're seeing it as more of a conversational platform, just like how Facebook was originally. The changes that exist within Instagram at the moment mean that it is very much driven by search engine optimization. So hashtags are pretty much becoming redundant. We can still use them, and I'll explain a little more on that later. However, the words that you use in your caption, but also in your profile, are really key to how people are going to find you. The algorithm, as you would have known as you've used Instagram or any social platform, observes your behaviors and predicts what it is that you want to see more of. So I'm going to curate and guide you as to how to get in front of the right audience and the right people at the right time. This is session number one, so Instagram fundamentals. We're going to actually come back to a lot of Instagram updates throughout many of the classes in this series. So if there's something that we don't cover today, we're absolutely going to get to it. The next class is going to be TikTok. That's going to be followed by auditing your socials. So basically a deep clean of everything that you've got. We're then going to move on to the content calendar workshop, which is going to be a game-changing exercise for you to plan and just minimize the amount of time that you spend curating and developing your social content. Then we're going to talk about the power of user-generated content, and I'm going to ask that your audience actually become your sales team. I want them to do the heavy lifting. I want them to be the word of mouth that actually brings your business in and procures you new followers. Then we're going to talk about sales tactics on socials. Finally, we will move to booking strategies that work. And our final piece is a big wrap up of everything that we've covered in all of the previous sessions. And that's where I really encourage everyone to AMA, which is Ask Me Anything. The easiest way for me to break down the takeaways in this class is to share with you the really common mistakes that we see happening a lot for stylists that are using their Instagram as a marketing tool, a booking tool, and a sales tool. And the most valuable real estate that you have in your Instagram is the link in your bio, which doesn't always get used to its full capacity and capability. So whenever you have a link to share, there's a couple of different ways that I want you to use it, and it is not in the caption of your post, because that is not clickable. We want to direct everyone to a clickable link And if you are able to drop in those links to your master page, your actual profile, you've got the opportunity to embed 3 different links. Utilize them. They could be your booking link, your e-commerce link, your sales link, and you've got an option to add even more, because there will be a whole kind of triage of links that can take your followers to many different places. So this is how you're going to update all of that. So firstly, you are going to head to edit profile. I want to make a point that's quite clear here. This is best done actually from your mobile device. If you try and do it from a desktop app, it's not going to work. It doesn't have the functions to do the edits the way in-app does. So make sure you're on your phone. You're going to click edit profile. Then you're going to go to links. The next piece of that is to add an external link. All you have to do is cut paste the URL that you're embedding in there, and then you give that URL a title. So for example, if it's to a booking page, you cut paste the link to take them to your booking, and then the title becomes booking, like super simple. This is how to perfect the Instagram link in bio. Okay, first of all, I want you to have a really clear, simple profile picture with a solid background. Now, that could be a headshot of you. It could be any of the work that you've done. It's fine if it is your brand logo. As long as it's super clear. You've got to remember that when people are searching and scrolling, how they remember you, whether they do it cognitively and succinctly or not, is that image. That image is going to represent everything that you are on this platform. So make it memorable. You have the opportunity to optimize your name with 3 searchable keywords, and that's going to help people find your account. So utilize the keywords to match to your niche. The most simple recommendation that I can give you is you're going to have your name, you're going to have your area. And I talk about this a lot. Your area is really important because the people that come and see you for a service, they are coming to you within a certain kilometer radius. They are not going to be towns, cities, countries over. Think about your very small data capture area of where your clients live. Mention that as much as you can in all of your socials. I also want you to think about what it is that is your point of difference. Is there something that you specialize in, and can you drop that into your profile? Line number 1 is you're going to explain what you do. So you might be a solo operator, and that's all you need to say. I am a solo stylist. I am an indie. I am a whatever. I am a salon. That's what you're going to drop into number 1. Then you're going to go into number 2. And you are going to share where you live and your area. You're also going to go into number 3, and you're creating a list that goes down. And you need to articulate the problem that you solve. So it could be, I am an extension specialist solving hair loss. I am a blonde specialist working in color correction. I am a haircutting specialist that works with face structure and natural hair texture. Obviously, those are quite long. You're going to need to shorten it and be succinct, but you've got other parts of your socials where you can expand on that a little bit. And then lastly, you are going to want to have a call to action and show everyone where they are going to book, purchase, or become a client or customer. Mistake number 2 that I see so many stylists doing is they talk about the call to action in their Instagram stories, but they don't provide an active link. So to access that link, you need to search your stickers. You're going to click the link option. It's then going to open up, and you're going to cut paste the link that will be active and in the story for your consumer to be able to click on and go to wherever it is that you are directing them to. The other mistake that we see very often is the bio link does not get promoted enough. you've got an e-store there, which is an amazing digital hub that can do so many things. It can look after your bookings. It can create online sales. You can create email funnels. And it's also a really great place for you to be able to check and track the data about what's happening in your page and your followers. So promote the e-link store as much as you can. Use it in as many call to actions as you can. The link is in the bio. Post it in your reels and your stories and do it on repeat, because we assume that everyone sees our content when the reality is a very small portion of our clients actually see the content. The other mistake that everyone needs to just be aware of so that they can maximize for full potential is to not share wholesale information to your audience. So if you reshare something from the HUSL app to your own accounts, there's a great chance that your audience is actually going to see a wholesale pricing. We want to have them on retail pricing so that you can make your commission. So the best way to remedy this is to use all of the HUSL assets that are available to you in the assets folder. You can navigate there via the link tree, which is in the HUSL link in bio. And I'm just going to take you to what Linktree looks like. Now, Linktree is a standalone platform that comes in the form of a link that will sit in your link in bio. Think of it as a master link navigation system. It's like a mini website, and that website has so many different areas, links, and navigation places that you can take your client to. You may not need a whole heap of them, but if you utilize them correctly, it's a great way to have a website without having an actual website. This is what the HUSL link tree looks like. So you can see that it is customized, it is branded, and it looks incredibly professional. They have a very basic Linktree have a very basic fundamental package, which is free. And if you want to customize and get more features, then you can choose to pay to upgrade. It will take you to all of your other social platforms, and it allows you to pin the most important content to the very top. So this would be the landing page that we have for HUSL. Then we have a bunch of different resources that are all linked, and you can actually add images and icons so that everything becomes very visual. You can see here that we've got some categorization in latest news. We've got free online education, how-to videos. It's basically a one-stop area for your clients to be able to find everything that they need to access via a link. So I hope those tips have been super helpful. They are very specific to everyone on this call. I think they're going to change the way in which you optimize your business, and probably things that you didn't even realize were available to you or that you may have been doing. To expand just a little further on what we can do in terms of the basics of Instagram, there has been a massive shift, and you would realize that the aesthetic grid was very much a trend for many, many years, and still is in many cases. However, there is a shift to something that is kind of reverting back to a more authentic grid. And the reason that that is happening is because the content that performs really well right now is face to camera. It's not super polished. It's just sharing information in a very authentic way. It doesn't need to be super glossy. Now, in saying that, there are many brands where they do need to be super glossy, highly polished, and professional all the time, because that's the corner of the market that they're speaking to. However, you need to really understand who your audience is and what your audience want in order to deliver the best possible content. So if your audience just want you to very casually explain, educate, and bring them up to speed on services, offerings, and availability, that's what you need to do. Also remember that the tool that you have accessible to you, if you want to do a combination of authentic face to camera as well as, curated beautiful post, is when you create a organic reel or a piece that isn't highly polished, you can still create a cover image or a tile that gives your grid the aesthetic of all of that, I guess, structure to it, without you actually using just a piece of the reel as the cover photo. I mentioned earlier that search engine optimization has very much changed in how we use Instagram, because the previous search tool was a hashtag, and the hashtag became the way in which we could navigate and find locations, people, or certain topics. But all of the words that you use in your caption, the way in which you fill out your link in bio, all of those are search engine optimized now. It will also evolve over the next few months to be geo optimized for AI. So that means when someone's asking a question to AI, if your Instagram has the answer, it will be able to source that content as well. So just to recap on that, the name in the field is an important search tool, as I highlighted previously. And your bio's first line is very much indexed. So it's the priority. It's what Instagram and the search engines will use as the first piece of indexing to identify your account. The keywords should be in the first 2 lines of your caption. And if you can, don't let Instagram AI and give you alternate text. Keep it as authentic as you can. You know what the messaging is for your brand. Everyone can tell what an AI caption is. Still use AI if it's a really helpful captioning tool, but remember to edit and make it authentic. I find that if you can use words that are part of your regular vocabulary more often, it definitely goes a long way into increasing your reach. We have a couple of different options when it comes to the content that we publish. And the 2 tools, or the most successful content options that you have available to you by way of reaching a larger audience, is Reels and carousels. Both of those seem to perform very, very well at the moment. So one standalone post with a caption is unlikely to get the same reach and engagement as a reel versus a carousel. So reels are optimized now. We try and keep them under 90 seconds. They've still got to be short and fast. So if you've got multiple stories to tell, break it up into several reels. With carousels, they very much take your client on a journey. So whenever you create a carousel, I want you to remember this. There's going to be a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you have this as a timeline to tell that story. Traditionally, carousels started at 6 images, it expanded to 10, and as of 2026, there will be a limit of 20 slides. That's going to roll out into various accounts at all different stages. Instagram don't drop their changes and their updates to everyone all at once. They will roll it out to a selected number of users so that they can assess bugs, feedback, and really ensure that it's a work in progress or a finished product before they push it out to absolutely everyone. Your broadcast channels are the best place to fill your empty appointments. Everyone should be using a broadcast channel as a tool to advise of availability. And my hot tip when it comes to broadcasting and saying that you have availability is use a sense of urgency to do it. So if you've had a cancellation, I would make sure that you reverse engineer how urgent it is that someone needs to act now to be able to take that appointment. So I've had a cancellation for tomorrow. It will fill up very fast. I expect that if you don't get in touch within the next hour or so, it will probably be gone. So please hit the link in bio so that you can make that appointment. This is the appointment availability. I would also, if you wanted to forecast out a little longer than that, you could say, I have 5 available appointments throughout the month of June, July for this one specific service. Keep it really niche and make it exclusive because everyone loves exclusivity. So, your 48-hour action plan to put everything into place that you have learned in this session is to update the name field and make sure you have a targeted keyword in there. I want you to create a carousel that is a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I want that to be a tutorial. Let's keep it around 8 slides. And the purpose of the carousel is to add value. I want you to share with your audience something that they think, I needed to know this, to the point where they save it. A save is actually better than a like or a comment in terms of the way that Instagram reads its value in the content. So I would use that as the call to action. If you're giving a tutorial and you're breaking down a process of either a hair look or some education, make sure that the call to action in the carousel, actually in the image so that it can be seen, is save this post for later, and then mention it in the comments as well. If you haven't already launched your broadcast channel, I would love for you to do that. It's going to make the world of difference when it comes to filling those last minute appointments. We have a cheat sheet for you, and all of that is going to be available as a download at the end of the class. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm looking forward to having some questions, and anyone who wants to slide into my DMs to explore any of these concepts a little further. Our handle is @6undergroundmedia, and that is across all of the platforms. But please also feel free to connect with me personally. My handle is Hayley Mears. All of that will be available to you. And I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.